Dieng Plateau, one of the volcanic complexes in Java Island, is a resource-rich yet disaster-prone area. Situated in parts of 6 regions: Wonosobo, Banjarnegara, Pekalongan, Batang, Kendal, and Temanggung. Dieng is known for its high fertile soils formed from the erosion and breakdown of volcanic material and influenced by cool climate and high rainfall, which contribute quite significantly to land productivity value. Over the past 3 decades, Dieng has been widely known as main vegetable producing area, meeting the country's needs. As the population increases, however, land degradation and disasters take their toll. Land carrying capacity in some areas of Dieng decreases as a result of increasing land use intensity driven by economic factors. To address the issue, the Master Program on Planning and Management of Coastal Area and Watershed Faculty of Geography, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and Center for Natural Resources and Development have initiated some learning program for students aiming to implement an ecosystem approach to disaster risk reduction. The program is called Joint Student Project on Ecosystem-Based Disaster Risk Reduction. The approach puts people's welfare and environmental stability first in all phases of disaster management. Risk analysis, risk prevention, emergency response, and recovery phase. The main objective of the ecosystem approach at the end is to create human-environment sustainable relationship. The well-thought-out program is designed to get the students to understand and implement thoroughly the stages in effort of reducing risk of landslide, volcanic activities, or poised gases, and erosions. Participants of Joint Student Project focused on obtaining information from the community and stakeholders by conducting in-depth interviews and distributing questionnaires before making physical measurements. Community perceptions of environmental issues and disasters in Dieng were also identified through social survey. The identified level of community perception will then become the basis for estimating vulnerability and risk as the components in disaster risk analysis. Erosion measurement. Participants of Joint Student Project interviewed a number of central figures consisting of farmers and fertilizer sellers or suppliers to obtain reliable information on agricultural dynamics, land productivity, and related agricultural issues faced by the community in Dieng. The study involved fertilizer sellers as respondents to identify to what extent farmers in Dieng need fertilizer. Meanwhile, to measure erosion process, participants of Joint Student Project simply used erosion paints. Regardless its simplicity, this method has proven successful in showing points of erosion and sedimentation. Results of erosion measurement. Erosion in Gadjah district is mostly triggered by intensive agricultural activities involving the enormous use of pesticides and fertilizers. Those activities lead to increased erosion, resulting in the loss of the upper fertile layer of soil. High risks of erosion in Dieng are shown by blocks of rocks revealed on its agricultural land, but also causing the Sudirman Reservoir siltation and eventually significantly reducing its age. Operation of the reservoir then cannot be optimal, causing minimum electricity supply. Dieng Rehabilitation Team becomes the leading team in solving Dieng environmental issues. They recommend plantation program and intensive livestock farming as solutions to the issues, despite the obstacles in the implementation that may occur. Friendly agricultural activities such as cultivating caricas and using rocky terraces as local wisdoms have been reintroduced in Dieng. Another alternative is the use of polybags to plant potatoes. Use of polybags will make significant contribution to erosion reduction since it minimizes tillage. Landslide measurement. Participants of Joint Student Project attempted to obtain as much information as possible from people in Gadjah about landslide susceptibility and disaster management implemented in the area. They also interviewed some local residents to get their perspectives on landslide and to identify their preparedness. Another crucial part of the survey was participatory landslide mapping. Field observations were directly made after mapping result had been found out. Observation of landslide point locations aim to identify landslide characteristics and causes. Results of landslide measurement. Based on gathered information, there are 2 villages in Gadjah district which are susceptible to ground motions, especially landslide and rockfall, Dieng and Surengede village. The landslides are triggered by heavy rainfalls on steep slopes and extensive tillage. Heavy traffic and increasing number of vehicles passing through Wonosobo Dieng Road also contribute to the landslides. Volcanic risk measurement. Volcanic risk measurement included interviews with people working in Dieng Center for Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation and tourism attraction managers of Sikidang Crater, aiming to identify their volcano disaster preparedness. To obtain more data, participants of Joint Study Project also interviewed some visitors to get their perspectives on volcanic risk. In surrounding areas of Sikidang Crater, participants conducted physical measurements. In example, measurement the amount of carbon monoxide and profiling evacuation route for visitors of Sikidang Crater. Results of volcanic risk measurement. Center for Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation has efficiently conducted volcanic observations equipped with adequate telemetry system which periodically records and sends data on the amount of carbon monoxide and sulfurs. Information dissemination on the latest status of volcanic activity has been coordinated well. Use of mosque speaker has been proven effective in informing volcano status to the residents. Interviews with visitors and mobile street vendors on the site suggest that they are not fully aware of volcanic hazards in the area. Moreover, the site managers have made less mitigation efforts. There has not been any official evacuation route. Reaching the areas of crater from the parking lot is also difficult due to relatively difficult terrain. However, in spite of the above-mentioned difficulty, one positive fact has been identified. The forest surrounding Sikidang Crater is well protected. The community and perhutani play important roles in protecting the crater in order to minimize disaster risk like poised gases or the crater's smart erosion. Such mitigation effort is an example of ecosystem approach in reducing volcanic disaster risk. level of erosion, landslide, and volcanic risks in Dieng is considered high. The complexity of environmental issues as well as disaster in the area can be formulated by implementing the ecosystem approach, having examined all related components and understood closely human-environment relationship.